Hi, this is Brian with bearmarketingnetwork.com, and I just want to do a quick introductory video on some social networking for small and mid-sized industrial manufacturing companies. And basically, the best way to do it is to do it consistently. Make sure that whether you do it once a week or 3 times a week, just be consistent week after week after week. That's how you're going to get people to pay attention to your posts or your tweets. That's how you're going to get people to reply. But I'm going to show you a few quick tools. This is by no means a comprehensive social media program. This is just the bare minimum that you need to be doing. So part of that bare minimum, what I recommend is a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn has a very active community of manufacturing and industrial companies and individuals working at those companies. Probably the most important thing on LinkedIn is all of their groups. There's all kinds of groups for metal fabrication, for electronics manufacturing, for plastics manufacturing. I mean, you name it, you can find a user group on LinkedIn.com. LinkedIn.com is also just the #1 kind of business social networking site on the internet. So it's a good place for you to start making contacts and making yourself known out there. But in the groups, there's all these discussion forums where people will post questions and anyone can go in and answer them, and it's a chance for you to show your expertise and your knowledge. Not be salesy. Don't go in there and try to sell. Just give people good information, and if they like what they're hearing, then they'll contact you. But it's also a chance for you to ask smart questions to give other people a chance to participate as well and show their expertise. And when they do that, make sure you get on there and thank people for answering your question and such. So that's how LinkedIn works. Facebook, we all know how Facebook works, but for a business, make sure that you create a business page, not a personal LinkedIn account or not a personal Facebook account. They're separate things. And you can Google that and find out how to do it. I intend to do future videos and how-tos about all these things, or you can just call me, of course, and I'm happy to get you set up in all these basics of social media marketing. Twitter is also, there's a very active group of industrial manufacturing companies on Twitter and a lot of organizations and publications. One thing you're going to see a lot more of in the future is companies at trade shows live tweeting what's going on at trade shows and conferences. So I'm going to show you a tool that I highly recommend that you use to help manage these 3 social media methods, and it will really help you live tweet. What that means is basically, you know, if you're sitting in your booth, if you're exhibiting at a trade show, you can, you know, once an hour, once every couple hours, shoot out a tweet about what's going on at the trade show, whether it's something, you know, cute and clever, or whether it's something very pertinent and technical for your industry. But, you know, or do both. Make some real interesting, make some real technical. You will get people following you, especially people who, you know, if it's a big show, you can draw their attention to something they might not otherwise see on their own, and it may bring them to your booth, and they may seek you out. If you start tweeting with people prior to a show, people that you know are attending or you know are exhibiting, you might be able to interact with them both before the show and at the show, and then hopefully after the show. But if you're live tweeting this, you're also going to get people watching who are unable to go to the show, but they may be following the show on Twitter to see what's going on and what they're missing, especially for conferences and educational type things. You get a lot of people trying to gain insights when they weren't able to attend firsthand themselves. So these are all uses of Twitter. It's not just, here's my product, here's the special of the week, here is you know, the latest, greatest thing we have. Use it to use Twitter and Facebook for that matter, and LinkedIn for that matter. If you read an interesting article, push those out to your social media sites. If you have an interesting experience that others would find interesting, or they can learn from, or it can really illustrate, your expertise in some fashion, write about it. If you have a blog, you can write an in-depth article about it, and then, or a white paper about it, and post the white paper on your site. But whether it's a white paper or a blog post, you can then post links to that on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and you're going to get people going to your white paper or to your blog post. These things take time to build up, though. You can't expect miracles. And studies by Global Spec and thomasnet.com both show that, the industrial, you guys know this already, the industrial community is kind of slow to adopt some of these new trends, and they're not necessarily trends. The players will change. Twitter and Facebook may not be the things forever. LinkedIn may not be the thing forever. But social networking is here in one form or another. It's not going away. So you need to start playing the game. Another one is Google+. The reason I'm not mentioning that right now is because the tools I'm recommending, and a lot of tools don't yet use Google+. That's going to be changing probably pretty quickly over the next year. Okay, so we've mentioned Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We've mentioned a blog very briefly. Videos is another thing. We can help you with videos. There's a lot of do-it-yourself video sites, but videos are tough. You have to do them well. There's different kinds of videos. There's what I'm doing, which is, in a sense, right now, a video blog or a how-to video. There are kind of very professionally produced. There are very professionally produced profile videos for your company. There are product videos that we can produce very professionally, or you can get them done many places. We actually will send a film crew to your site, no matter where you are, and have it very professionally done. But I can explain more about that to you one-on-one. But if you do videos, it's good to sprinkle those throughout your site, throughout your blog. Link to those again on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Get all those things done. And let's see, my phone's been ringing, so that was distracting me. I guess we'll come back to more of these. But if you do videos, send those out on LinkedIn, send them out on Facebook and Twitter, promote them in that fashion. And then, of course, we can teach you how to get those up on YouTube, up on Vimeo, and all kinds of other video portals to get the word out about you. And you want them embedded in your website. You want videos on as many pages as possible on your website, rather than one page full of multiple videos. Search engines simply like videos for the moment. That changes, every year. Things change dramatically with search engines too. Okay, the two tools that are going to help you with this, and I can't explain them here in depth. First one is called bufferapp.com, bufferapp.com. Buffer App simply allows you to set up a schedule of when you want things to post to Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. And you've got little toolbar buttons that you can download to Firefox and to Google Chrome. I'm not actually sure about Internet Explorer. But you've got those. And if you're sitting there reading an article on any web page, from any site, or if you've just put up something new on your site or your blog, you just click the little icon for Buffer, and it will pop up, and you simply tell it, put it in Facebook and put it in Twitter, or put it in LinkedIn, or 2 of those or 3 of those, whatever it may be, and it simply puts that in the next available slot for the schedule you set up ahead of time. So it helps you spread out your posts and your tweets throughout the week without really having to think about it. You set up the schedule ahead of time. You can always change the schedule, but generally you stick to a schedule and you just fill in, you just post things, and it puts it in the next available slot. So it helps you get good, constant coverage. It's a very, very handy application. The other one that I use is called hootsuite.com, H-O-O-T, Hootsuite, S-U-I-T-E.com. And Hootsuite just helps you manage all of those: Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can schedule future posts, you can do current posts, but it helps you monitor what's going on all three of those sites, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, from one location instead of having to log into separate locations. You can post messages, you can read messages, you can reply, you can friend people, you can unfriend people, follow people, unfollow people. Basically anything you can do in one of those sites individually, you can do it on LinkedIn, and it's nice because it's one location. So that's the basic summary here. Look those up, bufferapp.com and hootsuite.com, and try to learn about them on your own. Of course, we are available at bearmarketingnetwork.com to help set all this up for you, and so you can just hit the ground running. But I'm going to leave it at that for now, and hopefully we will have more videos in the future about each of these items in particular, so there'll be more in-depth how-to videos. So thanks for listening, and give us a call at bearmarketingnetwork.com if you have any questions. Thank you.